Hello everyone, it's Fran Carter again. I just wanted to share a story or tell you something that actually happened yesterday. I know that I used to work in an industry where emotions ran high, and I worked with both men and women, but for the last part of my time there was with women. And there were many times where we had women flying off the handle because they didn't have the skills, or where their frustration level was so high that they didn't care anymore. Yesterday I came across a situation where an individual was dealing with something that was going on, and it was out of their control, and they started yelling and screaming and crying, and it was almost like a temper tantrum, but with reason. And so the only thing I could do to help was to acknowledge her frustration, acknowledge how she was feeling. And I sat and listened for a few minutes, which was basically all she needed. She needed a driver. She needed somebody to take her from one location to another, which she made a phone call. Somebody did show up. But because of a circumstance, one particular thing that was happening, the driver refused to take her. So while she was in her emotional state, I just quickly walked up to her and I handed her a box of Kleenex, and I said, listen, we can figure something out. Let's just put our heads together and try and get you back to where you need to be. And so we managed to find a local taxi and called up the taxi. And then she started crying again because she said, I have no money. I was still on the phone with the taxi, and I spoke with the taxi driver. And I said, if you're taking somebody within the town limits, the city limits, what would it cost? It turned out that they had a flat fee of $10 per trip within the city limits. So I said, okay, can you come on down to this location and pick up this young lady? She needs to get to her husband's place of employment where her vehicle is. So the driver came. I got off the phone, hung up the phone, walked back over to the lady, and I asked her, I said, are you okay to take a cab? If I call a cab for you, will you get in and will that be okay? So she says, yes, but I have no money. I came here, it was not planned, and I can't pay the $10. So I said, don't worry about it. I have the money and I'll pay the cab for you. And she asked me then, still tears streaming down her face, how can I thank you? And I said, you just did. Just think about someone, just do a good deed, say something kind, say a prayer, do whatever you can for someone else when they're in need. And with that, I took her outside and we patiently waited for the cab. It took about 5 minutes, and helped her get into the vehicle. And so we exchanged information. Actually, I didn't think that would happen, but I now have a new friend, or someone that I can call a friend, and she was very grateful and appreciative. But when it comes to emotion and people who are struggling and don't know how to express that, sometimes all they need, and this is exactly what she told me, was a kind ear, somebody there just to say thank you, to acknowledge their emotion and to speak with them. So I wanted to share that because I've been thinking about it all day, and I wonder how many times have I walked away from a situation where I saw someone who was in an emotional state, but because of my own insecurities or nervousness or fears, around comforting them or even just offering some kind of assistance, I walked away. And yesterday I chose not to walk away. And we don't know what people are going through. We don't know the circumstances behind what that emotion is. So I encourage you to step past your fear the next time you come across a situation like this, and maybe offer a smile, offer a tissue, do whatever you can, because that karma, that good energy that you're sending out, always finds its way back to you. So there's a group on Facebook that I listen to and watch, and today is what they call Wealth Wednesday. And Wealth Wednesday doesn't always come in the form of money. In this case it did, but what was more important to her was the fact that somebody actually acknowledged the situation and helped her out. So think about that, and when you're in a situation where your emotions are overwhelming, ask and welcome that assistance back to you, because I know from experience and thinking I have to deal with this alone or I can't accept help. It's hard. It's hard sometimes to ask for that assistance from anyone. So I just want to thank you for taking the time to tune in and listen tonight. And if you found value in this, please share it, because I think the message is really important. And thank you again. My name is Fran Carter. I post every day, various times of the day, depending on how busy my schedule is. And I will see you tomorrow. So have a great evening.